Our tale begins with the orphans again. One of them, Deidre, is listening to a tape of Jem, talking about how much she loves Jem. And she's convinced that if she practices her guitar enough, the holograms will invite her on stage to play with them. And I'm not sure what it says about me that I want to see this orphan disappointed before the end of this two-parter, but I suspect it's not something good. The orphans sit down to watch TV and discover that the titular unnamed generic music awards are coming up, and that there are apparently only two bands competing for them. You'll never guess. The Misfits and Jem and the Holograms. Which doesn't seem like much of a contest to me. The Misfits songs are better. They say that right in the theme tune. Nevertheless, the only way to get a music award is to own a music company? I guess. I'm rarely clear on what the hell Eric is talking about. But this is enough to send Pizzazz back to her dad, who needs her to shut up so he can finish a very important report. So...
Look, my darling, buy whatever you need. Have the bank take care of it.
And while I hate billionaires, I can't deny that I'd probably throw a bunch of money at my kid too if it made them stop bothering me for 5 goddamn minutes. I definitely know what this says about me. Meanwhile, Jerrica is taking the orphans back to school clothes shopping, which leads to a song called She Makes an Impression, which is about, fashion and stuff. Then the Misfits plant their flag directly across from Starlight Music. Jerrica goes over to confirm this and is taunted by the Misfits and Eric, and honestly, I'm not sure what she expected to happen. On the way out, she sees a fancy video billboard of the band, which makes her really mad. Because, sure, there are only 2 bands in the entire world, but why can't that other band just fail and die already, so Jerrica and her friends can have everything? Her frustration even causes her to ignore Deidre when she tries to play a song for her. But I'm not sure why I bothered to include this because it doesn't seem like it's going to come up again. Back to Eric, who now has a shady henchman called Tech Rat. Whether or not he's one of the New Hampshire Tech Rats is never stated, but I'm just going to assume that he is. Also, of course Eric has a different guy now that I've just committed Zipper to memory. Tech Rat is about to demonstrate the sinister device he's constructed when the Misfits show up and demand to be accessories to whatever felony they have planned. Meanwhile,
Synergy, we need your help to beat the Misfits.
Which just makes me wonder if other bands who were big in the 80s acted like this. Do you think Bananarama had a supercomputer that they used to knock Huey Lewis in the News off the Billboard charts? Synergy gives them all new outfits, and you'll never guess how Kimber reacts to this.
Ooh, outrageous!
You keep saying that word. I don't think that word means what you think it means. Then Tech Rat activates his mystery box and all the electronics in Orphan House go insane. And wouldn't you know it? Synergy is made out of electronics, so I guess that means deadly lasers. See now, Kimber, this is outrageous. Truly, truly, truly outrageous. Then Pizzazz snatches the device out of Tech Rat's hands for some reason, and it ends up breaking, thus ending the crisis.
Eric, where'd you find this weirdo?
Tech Rat's not a weirdo. Tech Rat's a genius.
Those things are not mutually exclusive, Eric. The holograms go to meet some woman named Dance, which is just like the word dance, only it's a name, Dance. As far as I can tell, Dance is the new hotter Jem. If I were Jem, I'd be using my supercomputer to destroy her, especially now that we know it can shoot deadly lasers. But no, instead they do a song for her. It's called When It's Only the Music and Me, and it's pretty lame. I'm not super versed in 80s moves, but Kimber assures us that dances are outrageous, so I guess that settles that. Then Dance tells us about her orphanage, which again very much makes her the competition in my book. But Jem still does not call down the wrath of her deadly lasers upon Dance. I just do not understand these characters and their motivations at all. They do agree to play a concert to help benefit this orphanage, so maybe they're killing her with kindness? So Jem works with purple-haired boyfriend to prepare for the show. Jem mentions that there's a new component to their act, but then, realizing that revealing Synergy's holograms means revealing her secret identity, she clams up, which makes purple-haired boyfriend mad. Also me, because this whole secret identity angle is so stupid. I realize it must be annoying hearing me say that for the 13th review in a row, but imagine how I feel having to see it 13 times in a row. While they're fighting, Jem tells Deidre she doesn't have time for her. So Deidre's very sensible reaction to this is to run away. Which I know is serious, but also it's hard to believe she really means it if she's not even packing all her possessions into the standard issue bindle. Then for some reason, Chrissy and Bonnie, both of whom seem to have no problem with Jerrica or Jem, decide to run away with her. Also without bindles, I might add. The last act opens with a kid being beaten up by his dad and then thrown out of the house. Boy, for a show about holograms, they really have trouble keeping things light, huh? Then Jem has a meeting about the benefit and realizes that it's the same night as those nebulous music awards, so she has to back out. Which seems like a grievous oversight, but maybe this was her plan all along and she really does mean to destroy Dance? It wasn't, and she doesn't, but a guy can dream. Then Jem's runaways go say hi to the Misfits for some reason, so naturally they get locked in a moving van, while Pizzazz calls Child Protective Services on Jerrica. No, seriously.
I thought you should know. Jerrica Benton of the Starlight Foundation has been mistreating her girls, and 3 of them have run away.
Sometimes you can attribute this sort of thing to the language barrier with whatever animation studio a production uses, but I'm pretty sure that every major civilization in the history of humanity has known the difference between 3 and 5. Jerrica finds out about the girls who ran away from Ashley, who I never would have suspected was a narc, so everyone goes looking for them in all the places an 80s teen or possibly tween might be. You know, the arcade, the Galleria, the library to look up what the hell a Galleria is. They don't find the girls, but they do decide to do Dance's benefit after all. And I guess I can sort of see how these things are vaguely connected if I squint a lot. But I'm not sure the guy from CPS is going to see things that way. Then that kid who got thrown out of his house steals a Misfits ticket from a scalper, and then he and the 3 Starlight girls climb up on some really tall scaffolding while the Misfits play a song called I Am a Giant. And honestly, more bands should do videos where their fans flee from them in terror. Then, because we're at the end of this two-parter, Chrissy plummets to her almost certain death.